Now, I know that you like to see lots of examples, proof, all of those good things, and I have not let you down. So now that you know what's at the core, the foundation of the pyramid for your brand, you know what's driving the ship essentially. We know what we stand for, what we're going for, and what we don't stand for. Let's take a look at this in real life. So big brands that use brand archetypes, because archetypes show up everywhere and big corporations are well tuned into this fact, and they pay millions of dollars to brand agencies and marketing agencies to help them tell their story through the different customer touch points that they have. This is a great source of inspiration for us. So as the sage archetype, we want to make sure that we're taking inspiration from the right sources. So it wouldn't make sense for our brand to take inspiration from Victoria's Secret unless we're also the lover archetype in our secondary or primary, because that would produce a conflicting message in your brand. So we want to take inspiration from brands that have a similar ethos and methodology that, the same archetype as you. So I got you started with some amazing examples of some brands that are doing really amazing things with this archetype in the world. And I encourage you to take this starting place and to do your own research. So pull up their websites, look at some of the advertising commercials that they've done or print ads that they've done, and start to pay attention to the patterns. You're going to be uniquely suited to getting really great ideas from these sources of inspiration because you are an expert in pattern recognition. So things like the colors, the fonts, the specific word choice, the phrases, these are all things that you can pull as inspiration from these big brands. And I've done some of that for you. You're welcome. This part is incredibly time consuming. I've been accumulating all of these examples over many, the 3 years that I've been obsessed with archetypes essentially. And I did some selection to choose the ones that are the best teaching points. So here we go. I love the brand Living Proof. They make like shampoos and skincare products, and they lean really, really heavy into the sage archetype, and it shows. So check out like the very trustworthy, clear serif font that they use. I mean, down to their brand name. It's excellent. I found this packaging on Pinterest for this brand. It's like Cinemaic or something. And I love it. I mean, check out the pie charts that they use as their brand design cues. How amazing and sagey is that? I adore that idea. As a fun example, because I mean, so the sage might get a bad rap for being like too serious and not the one that wants to have fun. But check out Durex, the condom brand, using sage themes in their advertising. So 1 + 1 + our condom equals 0. Make your own equations. How fantastic is that? IBM has some great physical advertising there that help, it's useful. It's not just a pretty advertisement. It actually serves a purpose, which is very, very sage. You can even see the sage coming out in these companies' slogans. So Bose, better sound through research. Can't get much more sage than that. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. I think, therefore, IBM, science applied to life, etc., etc. These are all brilliant examples. And you can, again, you start to notice patterns. You can see the themes here. A lot of them are talking about the mind, about truth, about research, about science. All of these things are associations that we have with the sage archetype already. So it helps us create an emotional attachment to these brands and an emotional trust in these brands because we associate them with the sage archetype. Now, one of my favorite ways to get inspiration is to look at commercials. And I've done the legwork of selecting commercials that especially illustrate this archetype well. And then you can start to notice, I mean, it's like a totally immersive experience, right? Like you have the sound and the video and the people and the messaging, all of it comes together and you get a lot of inspiration that you can draw from. So these links are going to be on the page for you to watch. I highly recommend that you do that. Now, what's fun about seeing all of these examples come together in one place is that I am passing the torch to you. You are now gaining an understanding of the themes and the patterns and the messaging and the visuals that other Sage archetype brands use. So you're going to start to see your archetype everywhere. It's a gift and hopefully not a curse, right? So you can gain information and inspiration when you're walking through the mall, when you're looking at different food options on the grocery store shelves, when you're driving. You're going to start getting these informational downloads and observing and noticing now all of the ways that the Sage archetype can be lived out loud in the world. And I would love if you would take any photos of any ads or brands or messaging that you notice that are exemplifying the Sage archetype and tag me on social media, send them to me. It's extremely helpful for my research and for making this course, optimizing this course, making it even better. I hope to add more examples as time goes on. So definitely check those out. And I have even more examples for you. Get excited. So like I said, you can check out the websites, especially the about pages and the home pages tend to have the most archetype specific places because those are the high value places where they're trying to position the brand in the minds of the web visitors. So A Day is a technical clothing. It's kind of like an athleisure fashion brand. And check out like the diagram. They include a flow chart here, which is great inspiration to take from this Sage archetype brand. And I use this process myself. So I was on 3M's website looking for a inspirational screenshot to include in this presentation, and I found this periodic table of technologies that have been built by 3M. And I am totally going to take this because, like I said, I'm the magician and the sage, so I take inspiration from both types of brands. I'm totally going to make a periodic table of branding sometime soon. Can hold me to that. So this inspiration gathering process can be really, really powerful when you're doing it with other brands that are in your same archetype. You're ensuring that it's good inspiration instead of misleading inspiration, not another shiny object. Betterment has experts are behind every choice that we make. Awesome. And then I love the chalkboard aspect that the design cue or like the emotional trigger of being in school is very on brand for our Sage brands as well. Lastly, I have United Health Group. Again, we see more diagrams. It's very, very on brand. We see a book, very on brand. And it's time to reinvest in health. Fantastic. So I hope you get excited. I hope you feel like a curtain is being lifted. The wizard is out. You can see the emotional cues that these brands are using to communicate this archetype. So you are becoming fluent in the language of the Sage archetype. So I hope you have fun with it. I can't wait to see any other examples that you find and share with me. And again, do your own research, pay attention to patterns, see the colors that are showing up, see the fonts that are the types of fonts that are showing up, and take inspiration from all of that for your own brand. In the guidebook, I have actually a list. Oh, never mind. We'll talk about that later. I will see you in the next video.